Welcome to the channel where we understand great works, not just read them. There is a harsh proverb that says, "Be careful what you wish for, because you just might find it." But in all of world literature, no one has paid the price of this proverb more dearly than Oedipus Rex. When Aristotle, in his Poetics, looked for an example of what a perfect tragedy should look like, he pointed directly to this masterpiece by Sophocles. This is not just the retelling of an old Greek myth about a curse. This is a brutal, mathematically precise psychological thriller and a philosophical labyrinth, where the light of truth ultimately brings complete and eternal darkness. Today, we delve deep into the anatomy of the entire work, from its structure and symbols all the way to the mind of the tragic hero himself. What makes this work brilliant is its structure. Instead of the story starting from the beginning, namely from the birth of Oedipus and the casting of the curse, Sophocles sets the drama at the very end of the myth. The entire work is constructed as a detective investigation, where the present is used to unearth the past. The investigation moves backward, and each new character who enters the stage does not bring new events, but uncovers old, forgotten secrets. The genius of the entire composition lies in the fact that the detective, who is desperately searching for the killer, has actually been searching for himself his entire life. The drama opens with an apocalyptic image. Thebes is in ruins, stricken by a terrible plague that mows down everything in its path. The city does not smell of life, but of death and incense. But Thebes here is not just a mere backdrop. It is a symbol of a sick society, suffering from the unresolved sin of its ruler. When Sophocles was writing this drama, his native Athens was also facing a real plague and a political crisis. Through Thebes, the author sends a powerful message. When leaders are blinded by their own power, and when the truth in a state is swept under the rug, the entire society begins to rot from within. Upon this social crisis, Sophocles builds the most powerful pillar of the work: tragic irony. He plays with the motif of sight and blindness in an almost cruel way. Oedipus has perfect vision. He is smart. He is a solver of riddles. But he is fundamentally blind to his own reality and origins. On the other hand, we have Tiresias, an old man who is physically blind, but his spiritual eyes see the entire truth of the cosmos. The clash between the two is a psychological war. The one who cannot see knows everything, and the one who sees knows absolutely nothing about himself. When Oedipus insults the prophet because of his blindness, he unconsciously prophesies his own fate. Here we come to the core of Oedipus's character and his tragic flaw, known as hubris. Excessive, almost godlike pride. Oedipus is not a bad man or a tyrant. He is a just ruler. He sincerely loves Thebes and wants to save it. The people see him as a savior, almost a demigod, because he defeated the Sphinx. But his fatal flaw is his intellectual egoism. He believes that his human mind is stronger than the will of the gods. When he learns of the terrifying prophecy in his youth, his reaction is arrogant. He flees Corinth, convinced that by relocating he can outsmart Apollo. But in this world, every attempt by man to escape his fate is actually the path that leads him directly into its trap. The tragedy of Oedipus deepens through his clashes with the other characters who represent different worldviews. Jocasta represents skepticism toward the divine. She desperately wants to prove that prophecies are pure invention in order to protect her peaceful world, saying that her baby died long ago in the mountains. Creon, on the other hand, is the voice of reason, stability, and pragmatism. He is a perfect contrast to the impulsive and paranoid Oedipus. Standing between all of them is the ancient chorus. The chorus is the voice of the citizens, but also of the collective conscience. While the kings on stage fall into rage and doubt the gods, the chorus, through its songs, warns them of the danger of pride, and constantly teaches us compassion for human helplessness. Sophocles is a master of symbolism, and in this work, 3 motifs run through as a cruel reminder: Oedipus's pierced feet. The name Oedipus literally means swollen feet. These scars are a symbol of his past, which he ignores for a long time, but also a metaphor that man is symbolically shackled and marked since birth. The crossroads with 3 roads. The place where Oedipus kills Laius in a fit of rage. The crossroads is a symbol of a fateful choice. In that single place, the 3 lines of time converge: the past of his parents, his present, and his dark future. The culmination comes with the moment of Anagnorisis, the final, terrifying recognition of the truth. When the old shepherd confesses that he felt pity for the baby of Laius and Jocasta, all masks fall. Oedipus experiences a total mental collapse, his self blinding with the golden pins. From the dress of his mother and wife is not just a punishment, but an act of deep psychological despair. He literally refuses to look at his shame anymore, at his children, and at the world he has defiled. For the viewer, the scene where he, blind and bloody, says goodbye to Antigone and Ismene brings the ultimate catharsis, purification through fear and compassion. Oedipus Rex is not just a story of an ancient past. It is a timeless mirror of human existence. Sophocles shows us that man's greatest battle is not against external enemies, but against his own ignorance. Oedipus falls as a king, but is born as the ultimate symbol of human courage. Despite all warnings, he did not stop until he found out the truth, accepting his terrible fate with his head held high. As the chorus says at the very end, "Count no man happy until he has passed his final day free of suffering, for fate can cast you down from the summit into the deepest hell." In just a single moment, close the book, but keep your mind open. Understanding is just the beginning. See you in the next great work.